We see people living in a bubble in this channel all the time. They are the ones in denial, deceit, and delusion about the level and the consequences of black violence so wildly out of proportion. One of the places we see it the most are people who send their white children to black schools. We've done a lot of stories on this. We've done a lot of podcast interviews on this. I've published a lot of letters from kids talking about the hell they experienced in school because the black kids were so hostile and violent to white children in the schools. People know this on some level, yet they send their children to the school hoping the same people who allow these conditions to exist are going to protect their child from this ridiculous level of hostility and violence. Well, what we know is that the hostility and the violence is not just limited to students, it also extends into the teachers, faculty, and staff. Some level, the parents must know this. Some level, the parents have to know this because that's their job, to keep their kids safe, and that's the job these parents didn't do when they sent their kid to this black high school in St. Louis.
A beautiful building may hide an ugly secret, an alleged pattern of bullying and intimidation. Just ask student Megan Voiles, who got this voice message just this March.
I will beat everybody. I will kill everybody. Do you know? I will beat so bad.
I feel like I'm not safe.
Even worse, Megan's mother says school leaders and police were slow to act on their complaints. So we reported on the situation then. And now?
The first story that you did, that's when the school stepped up and expulsioned him.
So at the start of the school year, Megan decided to give Roosevelt another try. But her mother says it wasn't long before...
A week later, 2 girls jumped her in the hallway.
Retaliation for the expulsion of that male student.
I will kill everybody. Do you know?
Megan was taken to the hospital for a wrist injury, and the consequences for her attackers.
Did anyone get suspended?
No. I found out that the girls came back the same day.
Megan's mother says she had enough, not only pulling her daughter out of high school, but sending her out of state. It didn't, however, stop the texts and threats.
They're saying if she comes back to school, she'll either leave in an ambulance or a body bag.
And Mother Kathy Schmidt says once again, law enforcement seems handcuffed.
The police told us they couldn't do nothing, that it was a school matter.
And she claims again the school isn't much better.
I think it's unfair because we have proof of the death threats. We have proof from the hospital that her wrist was sprained that day.
It's enough that Megan doesn't want to come back to St. Louis. And worse, this 15-year-old plans on dropping out of school altogether.
Next time, what's saying that somebody's not going to sneak something in the school and seriously kill somebody or shoot somebody? You know? It's sad. They need to really step up.
A spokesperson for the St. Louis Public School District told me that they investigate thoroughly all allegations of bullying, sometimes with the help of city police. In this case, she says they can't release any comment due to federal privacy laws.
So that's the way you think parenting works? You turn responsibility for your child over to some strangers that don't even like your child. Really? Because you think that's their job, because it's written down somewhere. No, that's your job.
Please, sir, I want some more.
You failed it because these parents are in denial, deceit, and delusion about what's happening in these schools. The level of violence, the level of denial, deceit, and delusion surrounding the violence. There's no learning going on in that school. That's a warehouse. But yet you get this reporter going up there going, oh, well, you know, the adults involved can't talk about it because that would be against federal law. But more importantly, if you talk about the level of violence and danger in black schools directed at white students, well, that would make the black kids angry.